All right.
Hi, I'm Max.
And I'm Izzie.
Hi,
And
I'm John.
Nice to meet you.
Izzie. Max.
Yeah. And we're here with the Santa Barbara Middle School Teen Press, and tonight we're here with
John Nelson, and I supervise the visual effects on Blade Runner 2049.
We read that you have done some of the visual effects in Terminator 2 and more recently Blade Runner 2049.
Right.
How did you become interested in these films and want to become a part of them?
Well, I was always good at camera work, and I started, I borrowed my father's camera at a young age and started taking pictures with it. And then I was always good in math. And then I always loved cinema. I think the first big movie that I saw that really impressed me was On the Waterfront. You know, it's a black and white movie. It won Best Picture in the 50s with Marlon Brando. And it really moved me. And so I started sort of moving towards that as something that I liked doing. And all the time I was studying to be a doctor. And finally I just said to my father, I just can't be a doctor. I have to do this, right? And I remember he told me, he goes, you'll never make any money doing that, right? And I said, well, I have to do it. And fortunately for me, he said, okay, well, I'm not going to pay for that. And then I said, okay, fine, I'll find a way to do it. And then fortunately for me, I took a test in high school and got a scholarship, and I got a full scholarship so I could study whatever I wanted. And he was like happy and sad. Happy because he didn't have to pay for it, sad because he couldn't tell me what to do anymore. But then I just started to get into it, and I love camera work, and I was always good at math. So I was working at this place in Los Angeles, and it was at the beginning of computer graphics. And I told my boss, I said, you know, I really think I can do this. I think I'd like to try. And my boss had like this thing in his hand. He goes, okay, here, this is due in like 3 weeks, right? And so I took it, and I just started doing it, and I figured it out. And since that time, I've just been doing it ever since. You know, and I think that it's always a challenging a profession because it's always so different. Like my father is a research chemist, and we talked, and I said, he still told me, he goes, your job and my job are not that different because for a chemical for a company, somebody will say, well, I need a chemical to do this thing, and I'm the same thing with film directors and movie studios. They say, well, we can't figure out how to do this. You know, like my shot in Terminator 2 is when the guy gets shotgunned and his head reseals, right? You know, that's my big shot. So you just have to always figure out something different. On Gladiator, I had to figure out how, you know, to show the technological superiority and size of Rome, you know, and show that. In Iron Man, I had to figure out how to believe that 1,000-pound steel suit could fly, right? So it's always different, and so you have to really dive in, find out what's special about that, and then bring it back. And then the big thing is you have to fit your special effects into look real, look good, but also echo the story. Because if they're just spectacle, they're sort of useless. You know, if it's just like eye candy, who cares? But if it echoes a story point, particularly a story about humans, because we all are humans and we all can relate to that, then that's really something special.
You've also been a part of The Matrix Reloaded and Iron Man. Do you have any favorites? Tell us why.
Well, I think my current favorite is Blade Runner 2049. You know, it's because I think it's my best work. You know, I think that, you know, but I really liked working on Gladiator. I really liked working on Iron Man. They were probably my top films. But there's an old movie that I did a long time ago that I really like, In the Line of Fire, you know, with Clint Eastwood. It's a good movie. But for me, Blade Runner was sort of like, you know, I got a chance to work with a great director, a great DP, a great editor on a film that I have immense respect for, right? So I really dug deep inside. It brought everything I could bring to it because we have so much respect for the project. And I also love the director a lot, Denis Villeneuve. I think he's brilliant.
And then tell us a little bit about your process and what you would recommend to kids our age who want to do the same visual effects like you.
Well, I think what you have to do is you have to go out, and with filmmaking it's sort of like swimming. You can talk about swimming, but really at some point you have to jump in the water and try it. right? And so you have to go and shoot your own shots, go in Photoshop, start putting stuff together, and spend a lot of time thinking like a filmmaker. You know, like going, I have a short story, you know, which my friends, and we're going to go film it. You know, and you go and film it. It's like the kids in Super 8, the movie Super 8, you know, or I think it's Super 8, you know, but where they go and they film, you know, film their own stuff. I think it's Super 8. It's the one with Elle Fanning, right? You know, I think it is. But it's just you have to. Nothing replaces the experience, and you have to get in there and really try. Line up the shots yourself. Go and shoot as many photographs as you can get. Understand why light works. How light is falling on my face on this side, and it's a key light, but over here is a fill light. You have to, like, if you understand that stuff, you know, because you as young people, you have to find your light. So you have to try a lot of stuff to find out what is really uniquely interesting to you, and you'll try a bunch of stuff, and then you'll find, like, oh yeah, it's like for me, I tried a bunch of stuff. I said, oh yeah, camera, I really love camera. Oh yeah, movies, I really love movies. Oh yeah, you know, and then for me, I found that effects was just an avenue to be able to incorporate all that stuff together, right? You know, for me, when I was young, I loved history, so I actually got to make a movie that was about ancient Rome. I mean, how cool is that? You know, it's just like I could like immerse myself in history for a year and a half and make some great stuff. But you just have to find my biggest advice to young people is find whatever your light is, like a moth that is drawn to a flame. Try to find out what is your flame for you, and for each person it's different. It might be journalism, it might be writing, it might be directing, it might be cinematography, it might be visual effects, right? But just, you know, take a look at all of that stuff and see what really appeals to you.
Well, thank you so much for talking to us today.
Okay. Good luck. Good luck. I expect to see great movies from you guys in the future.
Thank you so much.
Have a good night.
All right.